Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. It's a really exciting one because Lowrance has just announced their new ActiveTarget real-time sonar. ActiveTarget is Lowrance's second attempt at competing with Garmin's Panoptix LiveScope system. But even if it did take them 2 times, they finally got it right, and this is an awesome product, so let's take a look at it right now. So we have 3 different views with the ActiveTarget. We have our forward-looking sonar, we have our down-looking sonar, and then we have our scout mode. Here's a slide showing you all 3 at the same time to give you an idea of the different perspectives you can get. In these images, the transducer is mounted to the barrel of the trolling motor. There's also the shaft mount that's included if you wanted to mount it to the shaft. The nice thing is with the ActiveTarget, you get the forward, down, and scout mounts all included. So it just depends on how you rotate the transducer that will determine which view you're going to get. The ActiveTarget kit retails for $14.99 US, which is the same as the Garmin Panoptix LiveScope system, but you don't have to spend the extra $100 to get their perspective mode mount. The perspective mode is equivalent to the Lowrance Scout mode. The weight of the complete system is about 6 pounds, so it's about the same as the Garmin, and you also get a 15-foot Ethernet cable to connect it up to the display you're using it with. ActiveTarget will work with the HDS Carbon units, the HDS Live units, and the recently announced Elite FS series units. For the ActiveTarget to work on any of the systems I've mentioned, you do have to have the sonar module. The nice thing with the design though is where the connectors are placed. This recess here will help take up less space in the boat because traditional modules would have the cables right at the bottom or top of them, causing you to require extra room for the connectors. These ones, the connectors will be on top of the module, and that's going to help you out a lot if you have a tight space to mount this in. The beam size on ActiveTarget is 135 by 18 degrees, and that's very close to the Garmin LiveScope system, which is 135 by 20 degrees. That slightly narrower beam width on the Lowrance may actually give you a little bit better detail. Generally speaking, the wider the beam angle, the more you cover, but the less detail you get. The one view it may hurt slightly is their scout mode view because you are going to be 2 degrees narrower in what you're going to see. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the screenshots that they have available for us to see. Here we're taking a look at the down view where we have a game fish off to the left here and a school of fish off to the right. One thing to note with this image is what we see with Garmin's LiveScope, where there's sometimes some stitching that's not done perfectly between the different beams of the transducer. We can see that here with the Lowrance as well. Here we'll take a look at the scout mode. We've got 2 fish off to the side and a school of about 5 or 6 fish off to the right here. The scout mode on the Lowrance does an awesome job at seeing how the structure lays out in front of you, as well as seeing fish movement. This screenshot here is one of the most impressive I've seen any real-time sonar. Let me explain what we're looking at. We've got 2 standing trees here and a few others behind it. We've got some big chunk rock that's forming a ledge, and then we have 3 distinct game fish. These fish are holding right along the transition of that rock. There's no doubt in my mind that ActiveTarget is really going to help you identify what species you're looking at. This screenshot is of the same area, just zoomed in a little bit more and the fish are no longer there. But it almost gives us a 3D image of what we're looking at if we stare at it long enough. And that's one of the whole goals of 2-dimensional sonar, just being able to create that 3D image of what the bottom terrain looks like in your mind. Well, this is making that extremely easy. Based on where the transducer starts showing information, it's at about the 15-foot mark. So that's exactly where the transducer on our boat is. So as you can see, it does shoot down and behind a little bit as well. Now here's some hard structure where again, we do notice the stitching a little bit in this image, but we can clearly see that we are looking at some man-made structure with some fish around the pilings on the bottom left. So there's an overview of the ActiveTarget specs and some analysis of the screenshots that we've seen so far. Really looking forward to trying this thing out on the water just to see how it does actually stack up against the LiveScope system. And from what I've seen, it looks very comparable. I want to talk to you now about what Lowrance's ActiveTarget means for the industry, for Lowrance, and for you. I think this is really big. ActiveTarget is something that we've needed. Panoptix LiveScope has just ruled the field for the last several years. What ActiveTarget does for the industry as a whole is just brings a little bit more competition. It's going to keep Garmin on their toes. So I think it's a really good thing. Now what it means for Lowrance is we now actually have a really good reason to buy a full Lowrance system. The last few years, we've seen people buying full Garmin systems and then adding a Humminbird Mega 360 imaging to the front of the boat. Or we've seen someone buy a full Humminbird system and then adding a Garmin Panoptix LiveScope system to the front of the boat. Well, now I think we have a really good reason to choose Lowrance as our main system. If you guys have seen the trolling motor video I did comparing all the new trolling motors for 2020, you know I like the Lowrance Ghost the best. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you click this card to take a look at it. To me, the Ghost was the main reason you would buy a Lowrance product, especially not having a 360 imaging type product or a Panoptix type, well, a good Panoptix type product, I should say, a LiveScope quality Panoptix product. There was no reason to really go with Lowrance. Personally, of what's out there today, I think Lowrance has the best screens, the easiest to use, and the best trolling motor. And now with ActiveTarget, we have a real-time sonar option where we could add a Humminbird Mega 360 to the mix at the bow of the boat and still get the best of the best today. So I think this really revitalizes Lowrance as a brand, and it's something they really needed to do. So what this means for you is this opens up another brand that you can choose from. Lowrance has had a lot of great features with their HDS Live units, but they really have been left behind just because of the different sonar technologies that Garmin and Humminbird have had over the last few years. So I think it's a good time to revisit Lowrance as a brand where you can outfit your boat with them as your main system. Let's take a look now at the menu on the ActiveTarget system to see what different options we have. We have our mode selection at the top where we can choose between forward, down, and scout mode. We then have our forward and down range below that, where we can select how close or how far we want to look. We can also adjust the sensitivity of the image we're seeing. And you'll note too that the orange bar there on the right is telling you not only how far up in the sensitivity scale you are, but if that bar was green, that would indicate you're in an automatic mode. Orange is manual, green is automatic. That's just one thing you may not know about the Lowrance systems. That works on all their menus. We have noise rejection below that as well. So if you are getting some interference, you can try playing with that. And then we have more options. In that more options menu, we have the option to go back to the menu we were just at. We have stop sonar to disable the sonar ping. So this would be great to use if you're going to make a run across the lake. Rather than shutting your whole system off, you can just select stop sonar and the transducer will no longer emit a signal. Next we have target trails, and when this is turned on, this will give you an idea of a moving target such as a fish as to what direction it's going. We have our color palette selection here. Then we have our range grid, which we can turn on or off. This will give us lines on the screen both vertically and horizontally to help us understand how far away objects are from us. I like it when I want to know how far I need to cast because it gives you that quick reference. But if you want to see the way structure lays out, it can clutter up the screen. So sometimes it's nice to have that off as well. Next is motion compensation. That's going to help us out when we're in rougher water, stabilize the image. We have our transducer source, where obviously in this case we have our ActiveTarget transducer selected. And then we can video record at the bottom all the images we see to play them back just like a video file. ActiveTarget really breathes new life into the brand. Now, I will say ActiveTarget's a home run, but it's not a grand slam. And let me explain just a few of the shortcomings I see with it. And these aren't so much shortcomings with the product itself and how it functions, but just what Lowrance didn't do with active imaging that would have set them apart to make it not just a home run, but a grand slam. First off, the network box. Number one, it would be nice if we didn't have to have that, but I understand with the new Elite FS series, we are going to require it, so it's there. But because it works with the Elite FS series, there's only one network port on the box. There's only one network port on the Elite FS series. So if you want to add in another Elite FS unit, you have to buy another box, which is their Navico expansion hub, to give you enough Ethernet ports to link everything together. And they removed the wireless networking that the Elite TI2s have from the Elite FS. That would have solved all the problems, but for some reason they didn't keep that. And it worked really well. I'm kind of surprised at that. So I think because they didn't put an extra network port on the box, that's a bit of a shortcoming. Garmin did the same thing with their GLS 10 box that comes with a LiveScope system. There's only one network port on it. The second shortcoming I see with the product is we still have to raise the trolling motor, manually adjust the transducer to the angle we want, redeploy the trolling motor to change views. I think the brand that figures out how to do that through software, just in the menu on the unit rather than physically rotating the transducer, that's gonna be a real winner. Now I understand that probably is going to increase the price because they may have to add a second array of transducer elements in there. But if they can somehow figure out how to do it without jacking the price up too much, that's going to be key. I understand for the perspective or the scout mode, you would have to still rotate the transducer from a vertical to a horizontal position. I get that, but for the forward and down, I think we need to be in the place where we can do that with software at this point. So ActiveTarget has caught up to what Garmin has, in my opinion. However, they have left that door open. I think Hummingbird's in the best position right now. If Humminbird can eliminate the network box, stitch the sonar together seamlessly, and come up with a way to rotate the transducer through software, not physically, that's going to be a real winner in my opinion. Now we also have to consider what Garmin's going to come out with. Lowrance has caught up. Hummingbird's probably working on something to catch up as well. If they both just catch up, what does Garmin have planned? Well, in my opinion, what's the next step? I think where Garmin can really gain some ground and step things up even once more would be through a 3-dimensional real-time sonar view. So this would be taking their original Panoptix forward view 3D view and then combining it with the high quality imagery we see with the LiveScope quality sonar. If we can get that, that's really going to be the next thing. So you guys, let me know what you think. Do you think ActiveTarget is going to be something that would convince you to buy Lowrance now? Is it something you've been waiting for if you're a diehard Lowrance fan? Let me know in the comments how you feel about the product and just how you feel about the whole real-time sonar thing in general. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate the support. Appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel and take a look at more videos like these ones.